everybody, and thank you for coming back to the channel and to the P47 build that I'm doing. I'll just take off the tail assembly. I sometimes like putting it on because it looks more advanced than it actually is. What I've been doing up to now, I've fixed a little bit of the underside stringers because a couple of them were broken because of that knot that I had in the wood, if you remember, and I'm thinking about putting in more or not. But anyhow, I'm giving the lower part for the moment as finished. And what I've started to do is I've started to put in the formers for the upper part of the fuselage. So this is then the last former, and here then the tail will go, as you saw, and I'm going to go on building forward. I'm using, I don't know if you can see down here, I'm using my, what I claim I invented, but I'm sure somebody else came across this idea before myself also, using the masking tape, putting it over the picture of the piece, and then tracing it over with a pencil, and then transferring this over then to the 1.5mm balsa, and then cutting it from there. So this is going to be about putting together then the formers going forwards. I've also done it, I don't know if you can see it, but maybe I can lift it and show you. I've changed, I'm doing a modification, let's see if you can see it. I've put in here and here some pieces of balsa. I think it's a 2mm, even 2.5, and I'm going to be putting the peg for the rubber motor in horizontally. It's a modification because the original plan shows it vertically, but I'm not sure how to do it like that. It has here like some holes, it's paper tubing also, so I'm not sure how to do that. My worry with these motors is that if I put the engine in and it's too tense, what if it rips in through everything, right? So I put it a little bit further back, hoping that that will hold it, and that the motor will not rip the whole machine apart or in half actually. So that's a modification I'm doing, and this is how we are so far. As I say, I'll be putting in the formers, then the stringers, and then that will take me a couple of days for sure, and then I'll let you know how it goes. Time for a brief update. As you can see, I've managed to complete the upper halves of the formers. Let's see if you can see this. So each of the formers are now complete, and I've done some additions. I've put in this strutting here, let's see if you can see it. It wasn't in the plan, but it's the only way that I can hold these kind of in place, so then I'll see if I leave it there or I cut it off. And I've also put in this piece in here. It's a piece of scrap balsa. It's not entirely straight because the stringers aren't completely symmetrical, but I put it in there because I see already here on the plan it says that it's a place to adding nose weight because it's going to be tail heavy. But how do you add in nose weight, right? So what I'm thinking is I put in this piece in here. I might need to drill in holes in here that I can then at some point put in some kind of weight, be it some metal, some lead, or whatever. So I'm trying to think ahead here, and a bit of learning from other models, and see if I can then have a place there to put in some weight, and it doesn't fly around and get into the fuselage, because once it's covered it's going to be very difficult to get it out. So that's a progress on that. Next step on this is going to be then the lawn stringers. So again, I'm going to be cutting them out. I'm going to go up to here. You can't see it because here, sorry. No, here, yes, because this is where the tail assembly will be stuck on. So I'll be doing this, and I believe this area is going to be cut out. So I think I'm going to put them on. It might generate a little bit of waste, which is not good, but I can't see exactly if there's any other way. So I think I'm going to put it all anyhow, and then see how I put on then the canopy, which is then another challenge ahead. Another thing that I started to do is I've given some thought to the propeller. If you remember, I have one propeller that is not really suitable, has too coarse of a pitch, and I'm preparing. I have the blank for the other one. So what I've started to do, I've started to draw out the silhouette on it. I've got the markings, so how it's going to go, and I start to carve it. The whole propeller assembly always takes some time. That's why I want to do it somehow step by step. So I might be starting with a carving already on it, so that it's kind of ready. Maybe I might need to make a hole actually. First thing might be the hole, which I always struggle with, if you remember. So anyhow, a little bit of progress, and let's see how it goes with the fuselage. Time to wrap up. As you can see here, I've got the final construction. I've managed to put in all the stringers, so all the top of the fuselage is completed. I even put in the instrument panel, which is just on masking tape. I traced it over, so let's hope it holds, and I put a little bit of glue just in case. One thing that I was trying to do when putting the stringers, I was always trying to measure as exactly as I could on each of the formers, so that it would be as accurate as possible. It is not perfect, and you can probably see it, but I think it's a little bit better than my standard, let's say, quality. So I try to get better and better whenever I can. So if I put on the tail section again, just for the looks, there it is, and it starts to look like what it is. So the wooden structure is finished. I'm always a little bit sad about it, because I think it's the area that I enjoy the most, and there's also visible progress. And ahead of me I have a remaining number of very hard projects. So let's go one by one and just review what's going to come up next. So propeller, this was the bad propeller, so I started to work already on the good propeller, what I hope is going to be the good propeller. I carved out the middle here, so I don't know if you can see it, so it has a better shape than this one. And I've started already to carve one of the blades. So let's see, again, it's a process, it takes time, but it's hopefully it will progress. More difficult projects coming my way. I'm going to say it's going to be I don't know if you can see it from there, but the nose block. That's difficult because I still don't quite understand it, and it also implies using plywood, and I always struggle with plywood quite a lot. So I'm not sure exactly how I'll be doing it, but that's going to be one challenge that's coming my way. Another big challenge is the rubber motor itself, because as you might know, I've never actually managed to get a rubber powered plane to fly properly. I see the instructions, it says that I need to put in 10 strands of 3/16 16 inches long. Now I've calculated it into centimeters for myself. That's 4 meters of rubber. I don't think I have that, and I think that would also be very big and bulky, so I'll see what I can put together, but that's quite a lot. I'm hoping that if it's less, it will still fly, maybe not so long, but I have to figure that out. And also the braiding of the motors is not as easy as it may sound, so I'm also trying to learn on that. That's the point of doing the rubber motors, right? So that's another big challenge. So nose block, rubber motor. Another one will be the canopy. If you remember from my previous attempts, it hasn't worked very well, so I have some ideas there how I'm going to do it, so let's see if it gets better. So the nice bubble canopy is going to be another challenge that is coming my way, and then of course other challenges will be then assembly. I think that will go okay, but then the tissue covering, it's a lot of big surfaces, so let's see how I manage to do it. The engine cowling is also a challenge. I think it's done with card. I'm not really very good at it because it's not just like a tube, right? If it were a tube it would be easier, but it's a tube that is wider at one end than the other, so it's kind of a section of a cone, which is for me very challenging, so I've got to see how I do that. Actually I'm thinking about the cone, maybe I should do a big piece of paper, but no, it's not round, and the top part is round, the bottom part is very different shape. So challenge also with engine cowling. Tissue covering I said, then of course then the painting and the markings and things like that, and then that's just the end of the build, and then it will be the trimming and all these. So much more challenges ahead of me than behind me, I believe. And as I say, I do enjoy the wood building part. I'm going to miss that, so that might be an excuse to start other parallel projects in between, but I'll see. I'll keep you posted on that. In any case, thank you for holding out, for listening to my ranting on this, and for all your tips and tricks. I do appreciate them, and I do apply a lot of the ideas that you give me, so thank you once again for those, and I'll see you next time.